Hey guys, LevelCap here, and this week in gaming, Star Citizen hit yet another roadblock. An investor is suing Cyberpunk 2077's developers, 2020 saw a massive shift in game sales, and much more. Few things in gaming are as frustrating as Star Citizen's many delays over the years. Unfortunately, the delays just keep coming. The release date for the game's single player, Squadron 42, has officially gone from missing its beta launch by half a year to, well, it'll be done when it's done. The studio's creator, Chris Roberts, issued a statement discussing the new delay. A beta phase for Squadron 42 was supposed to kick off in Q2 of this year, but thanks to the pandemic, that didn't happen. Much of Roberts' statements seem focused on how his studio has dealt with working from home. And while he does make it sound like the pandemic has been the primary roadblock to progress, it is Star Citizen after all. Nothing about this game has been delivered on time or as expected. It's unclear if Roberts constantly pushing the studio to go bigger and add more features is a problem or not. If you ask people who have bought the game and play its alphas, they'd probably tell you that it's frustrating to see such slow progress, but that the progress is incredible. For everyone else on the outside looking in, Star Citizen probably seems like vaporware or a perpetual scam. To some people, the game being primarily crowdfunded means that there isn't a big incentive to finish the game or pressure to compromise for the sake of getting the game out the door. In reality though, no developer wants to work on one game forever. Squadron 42 is tracked on the game's updated roadmap, and it looks like we can expect it to be completed by Q1 2022. It'll still be getting regular devlogs and video production showing progress, but don't expect new gameplay for some time. Much of the delay this time around sounds like it was genuinely caused by the studio working from home. While the roadmap shows the game won't be finished until 2022, I'd expect a beta of some kind before then. The Cyberpunk 2077 post-launch saga got extra spicy this week when it came to light that some of the developers' investors were considering filing a lawsuit. Their representation, the Manhattan-based Rosen law firm, filed a suit on the investors' behalf with a call for others to join in. They argue that CD Projekt Red purposely misled investors to secure funding, leading to damages caused by the extreme backlash from the public. Despite being delisted from the PlayStation Store and Microsoft offering refunds, Cyberpunk still managed to sell 13 million copies since launch. And while the firm behind the suit has a long list of victories on their website, this particular suit isn't exactly cut and dry. And anyone that thinks 13 million units sold doesn't mean the investors have made back their money is totally nuts. That's an astronomical amount of sales, and the game itself made both its production and marketing costs with pre-orders alone. So proving investors suffer damages from the backlash will be tough. Investors will also have to prove CD Projekt Red intentionally lied to them about the state of the game. That also seems a bit unlikely, though it's probably considering that the devs themselves apologized for not showing the game's last-gen build before launch. As for the game itself, it just got a new hotfix that addresses a save corruption issue caused by your save file exceeding 8 megabytes in size. This could happen if you did a ton of crafting or something like that. The hotfix prevents it from happening, but doesn't recover existing saves that were already corrupted. 2020 has been a year of massive change and hardship for everyone, but it also has some interesting effects on the game industry. In 2019, digital sales accounted for 79% of revenue across the industry. Now that we're living in a pandemic, that figure has gone up to 91% by the end of the year. This is a massive 12% jump, and it's likely one of the most significant year-to-year jumps ever. Digital sales have taken up more and more of the market every year, which has caused a lot of confusion for consumers. A few years ago, it was easy to estimate based on reporting from physical retailers how many copies of a game had been sold or how much of its revenue came from DLC. But now that every dev and publisher has their own digital store, it's pretty rare that we get to see how many units total a game has sold. We often only have the physical sales data, which has been diminishing year after year. A big AAA could have a report come out saying it only sold 1 million units when it sold like 5 million copies with digital purchases included. Really, the consumer just doesn't know unless the developers or publishers tell us the sales figures. If 91% of sales were digital this year, it's safe to say that some random report based on physical retail sales will be wildly inaccurate. First impressions of Diablo Immortal have been surprisingly positive. Diablo fans were mortified when Blizzard revealed Immortal back at BlizzCon 2018 because, well, it's a mobile game. At the time, Diablo 4 seemed like a pipe dream, and Blizzard made a big show of having something to show that was Diablo related. So when it turned out to be a mobile game, the crowd was underwhelmed, to put it nicely. However, it seems like that outrage may not be justified, as Blizzard recently announced Diablo 4, and Immortal is apparently a solid translation of Diablo's gameplay for mobile devices. The game is currently in alpha though, so it's still not a complete package. There's also the question of microtransactions. Immortal's gear, classes, and story content won't be purchasable. The full game doesn't have a release date yet. Warframe's developers say they will retain full creative freedom now that Chinese mega company Tencent has acquired them. Warframe was already owned by a Chinese company, so adhering to China's strict regulations was probably already a factor for the devs. So far, Tencent has proven to be relatively hands-off with the companies they acquire. They swoop in with buckets of cash and don't make any wild demands based on what most developers have to say about them. China is one of the largest and fastest growing entertainment markets in the world. While the Chinese government is very strict about what can and can't be sold there, they've opened the country up to Western companies more than ever before in recent years. Most companies seem eager to respect the rules so long as they get access to the playground. So while Tencent and other Chinese companies might or already have exerted oversight with their Western brands, it seems just as likely that those brands are doing that oversight on their own accord. For example, many accuse Tencent of forcing Blizzard to punish Hearthstone Grandmaster Blitzchung for supporting the Hong Kong protest, but Tencent only owns a 5% stake in Blizzard. That's a sizable chunk, but not enough to dictate the company's actions. It's more like Blizzard punished Blitzchung to keep the game from being banned in China, all on their own. Escape from Tarkov's latest update is here. It overhauls the Woods map and wipes all players back to square one. As with most wipe updates, this one is a big milestone for Tarkov. Resetting all progress for players gives new people a reasonable point of entry and refreshes the game for hardcore folks that have already sunk countless hours into the game. As for the new content, Woods is now double the size and offers new points of interest to explore. The new guns added to the update include the Vector SMG, the SIG MCX AR, the UMP SMG, and more. Two new ammo types were added, the 300 Blackout and the 338 Lapua Magnum. Overall, I wouldn't exactly call this update a game changer, but the Woods rework is certainly a welcome one, and some of the new guns are pretty cool. In our final story this week, the Japanese action RPG Nier Automata has hit a new sales milestone of 5 million units sold. The game originally launched in 2017 on PlayStation 4. It launched on PC a week later and Xbox One the following year. The game itself received almost universal praise for its story and gameplay, but the PC version suffered severe technical problems on launch. While some of the issues were patched in the months following release, many problems still remain. That said, it's not a train wreck by any stretch, and the game certainly deserves the praise it's gotten over the years. And that wraps it up for this week in gaming. I hope you guys have enjoyed your holiday so far. Let me know what story you thought was the most interesting in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this in the future, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.